Does anybody remember back in 2023 when Project Veritas had that Pfizer executive out to dinner? The executive confessed that their company was planning on doing experiments such as the ones that they did in the Wuhan lab that could have potentially led to another breakout. The executive also admitted that the US government regulators were not scrutinizing these experiments, all because they didn't want to jeopardize future job opportunities at Pfizer. Then this executive realized that he was being filmed and started screaming and crawling on the floor and making a big scene. Does anybody remember this, or am I the only one? I may very well be the only one that remembers this because the media didn't cover it. So we're going to cover it today on Pump and Dump the News, although, as you can see, I'm not pumping, but we're still going to dump the news. Let's get into it. So this executive from Pfizer was never fired for leaking all of this information about all these things that Pfizer's doing. In fact, Project Veritas fell apart not long after this whole story broke, and the only other person that was talking about it at the time was Tucker Carlson on his nightly show on Fox, and we all know what happened to him. Anybody who criticizes Big Pharma usually loses their platform or is deemed a conspiracy theorist or anti-science or anti-vax, all of the names that nobody wants to be called. So why does Big Pharma have so much power? They are literally the biggest drug cartel ever. Pablo Escobar could only have dreamed to be as big of a cartel as Big Pharma is. They are just a huge, huge drug cartel, pushing drugs on Americans and New Zealanders all the time. It turns out that the US and New Zealand are the only two countries that allow pharmaceutical companies to advertise on air. Now think about this. When you watch Fox or CNN or MSNBC, which I don't anymore at all, or even the Super Bowl, how many ads do you see for some random medication that you've never heard of? Why are we going to our doctors and saying, I think I need to be on this medication, you say it by name, instead of getting the generic form of the medication, which would be cheaper, or just being medicated for something that you don't even need to be medicated for? It's because Big Pharma has bought the media. Big Pharma spends around $5 billion a year, at least they did last year, on advertisements alone. That is more than they spend on research and development for the drugs that they are trying to sell us. 31% of ad reads that are on major nightly news networks are for Big Pharma, for drugs. So where is this rant heading? RFK Jr. and the HHS wants to implement a ban on pharmaceutical companies running ads on our TVs. It is about time. We should do this. It's going to be a huge legal battle. This is not the first time that he wanted to implement this. They're going to claim free speech, the First Amendment, all that, this, that, and the other thing, but why is it that other countries don't allow this advertising, but we allow this advertising? Think about it. So that is it for the news.